The sky was dark and full of stars. A small ship floated far from Earth near the edge of known space. It was called the ICR Horizon, a research vessel sent by the Interstellar Council. On board were 6 people, scientists, explorers, and 1 soldier. They had been traveling for months. Their mission was to study strange signals coming from a distant part of the galaxy. These signals were not like anything seen before. They pulsed with a soft blue light and came from a planet no one had ever mapped. This world was labeled Blue 9. No probes had returned from it. Every machine they sent into orbit around the planet just stopped working. Some vanished without a trace. That made the Council nervous. But it also made them curious, so they sent people. Captain Elliot Bryant stood at the front of the control room. He was tall, with tired eyes and short hair. He had flown missions before, but none like this. He looked at the screen as the planet grew larger. "It's beautiful," said Lisa Morrow, the team's geologist. She pressed her face close to the window. She was right. From space, Blue 9 glowed with a soft blue color, like an ocean under moonlight. Clouds swirled gently over its surface. There were forests, rivers, even what looked like mountains. But there were no cities, no lights, nothing that showed life. "That's weird," muttered Kevin Lang, the biologist. "If there's air and water, there should be something alive down there." "There might be," said Marina Cruz, the military liaison. Her voice was calm, but her eyes were sharp. "Or there might have been." Marina was the only one on the team who wore a uniform. Everyone else wore regular clothes or suits for walking in space. She didn't say much, but she watched everything. The captain turned to the pilot, Dana Reyes. "Take us into orbit," he said. Dana nodded and moved the controls. The ship hummed softly as it changed course. As they got closer, the readings began to change. "The magnetic field is stronger than we thought," said Kevin, looking at his tablet. "It's messing with our sensors." "So is the radiation," added Lisa. "It's low level, but it's everywhere." Elliot frowned. "Can we land?" Dana checked the systems. "Yes, but I don't know how long our gear will last down there." "We'll take the risk," said Elliot. "We came all this way." They spent the next few hours preparing. They checked their suits, packed tools, and reviewed safety rules. If something went wrong, they would need to act fast. When they were ready, the landing craft detached from the main ship and began its slow fall toward the planet. Inside, the team sat quietly. Lisa tapped her fingers on her knee. She was excited but also scared. Kevin stared out the window. "I wonder if we're the first ones here." "No," said Marina, surprising everyone. "Someone was here before us. Something was." The others looked at her. "What do you mean?" asked Dana. She didn't answer right away. Then she pointed to a screen showing the terrain below. "There," she said. Everyone leaned in. There, among the trees and hills, was a shape that did not belong to nature. It was broken and half buried in the ground, but it looked like a building or what was left of one. "Alien ruins?" Lisa whispered. "Possibly," said Marina. Elliot looked serious. "Let's stay focused. We land, collect samples, and report. Back. No heroics." The landing craft shook as it entered the atmosphere. Outside, the sky turned orange from heat. Then with a gentle bump, they touched down. For a moment, no one spoke. Then Elliot unbuckled and stood up. "Welcome to Blue 9, he said. They opened the hatch. A cool breeze hit their faces. The air smelled fresh, like rain and pine. They stepped onto the soil. It was soft and dark. Around them, tall plants swayed, though there was no wind. "This place feels quiet," Dana said. "Too quiet," said Kevin. They walked forward slowly, scanning the area. Their suits beeped softly, checking for danger. So far, nothing harmful. Lisa knelt and picked up a rock. "This isn't natural," she said. "It's too smooth." Elliot took it from her. He turned it in his hand. It had lines carved into it, like writing. "Could be ancient language," he said. "Or warning signs," said Marina. They kept moving. Trees surrounded them. Some had glowing leaves. Others had bark that shimmered when touched. They found more. Ruins. Broken walls, shattered pillars, pieces of metal twisted by time. And then they saw something else. A symbol was carved into a stone slab. It looked like a sun with eyes. Below it, there were pictures. Figures stood together. Some tall, some short, some with many limbs. And beside them another figure, darker and taller, watching. Above them all a word was written in a strange language. "I've seen this before," said Marina. "You have?" asked Dana. "In old files. Secret ones." "What does it mean?" asked Lisa. Marina looked at the group. "It says, the Blue Death." Silence fell over the team. "What's the Blue Death?" Kevin asked. Marina didn't answer. She stared at the carvings, her face pale. Back on the ship, the signal began to break up. Static filled the radio. And somewhere deep in the forest something stirred. The team stayed close as they walked through the forest. The trees were tall and thin with glowing leaves that gave off a soft blue light. The ground was wet, even though there had been no rain. They moved slowly, scanning everything around them. Their suits made soft beeping sounds as they checked for danger. Lisa Morrow crouched near a broken wall. She touched it with her gloved hand. "This place is old," she said. "Really old." Kevin Lang looked at his scanner. "No signs of life, but the air is clean. We could breathe it without suits." "That doesn't make sense," Dana Reyes said. "If this planet is safe, why did all our machines fail?" Elliot Bryant looked up at the sky. Clouds moved slowly above them. There was a low hum in the air, like a sound just out of reach. "I don't like this," he said. "Too quiet." Marina. Cruz stood apart from the group. She kept looking back the way they came. "You okay?" Dana asked her. Marina nodded but didn't speak. They kept walking until they reached a clearing. In the center was a large stone platform, covered in carvings. "These symbols again," Lisa said, pointing to the same sun-like shape with eyes. "And more figures," Kevin added. The carvings showed beings of many shapes standing together. Some looked like humans. Others were taller, thinner, or had more limbs. Above them all was the dark figure, the one watching. Below it, more writing. Lisa took out her pad and tried to scan the text. "It's not matching any known language," she said. "Maybe it's not meant for us," Marina said quietly. They spent the next hour exploring the ruins. They found broken tools, shattered glass, and strange metal bones. "No animal remains," Kevin noted. "That's weird." "What do you mean?" Dana asked. "I mean, if this was a living world, we should see insects, birds, something. But there's nothing. No bugs, no animals, no signs of decay." "So what lived here?" Lisa asked. Elliot looked around. "We need answers." Back at the landing craft, they set up camp. They placed sensors around the area and sent drones into the sky. But within minutes, the drones stopped responding. "They're dead," Dana said, checking her screen. "Just gone offline." "No signal loss," Kevin added. "It's like they vanished." Elliot frowned. "Let's keep moving. We'll head deeper tomorrow." That night, they slept in shifts. Lisa was first on watch. She sat by the fire, looking at the forest. The trees swayed gently even though there was no wind. She heard a sound, soft and far away, like a voice calling. She turned quickly. Nothing was there. She tapped her earpiece. "Hey, anyone awake?" A pause. "Yeah." Dana's sleepy voice answered. "What's up? Did you hear something?" "No, just the trees." Lisa looked again into the dark. "Okay," she said softly. She didn't sleep the rest of the night. Morning came slow. Dana woke up with a headache. Her dreams had been strange, full of voices and shadows. She wasn't the only one. Everyone felt tired. Even Elliot, who rarely complained, looked worn out. "Weird dreams," Kevin muttered. "I saw those carvings come alive." "Same." Dana said. I dreamed I was walking through fire. Lisa didn't speak. She just stared at her coffee. Marina stood alone, looking toward the forest. You okay? Elliot asked her. She turned to him slowly. I've seen places like this before, she said. Not in person, in reports, secret files, places where no one survived. Elliot's face grew serious. Why didn't you tell us? I didn't want to scare you. He crossed his arms. You think we're in danger? I know we are. He looked around at the others. We press on, he said. We find answers. They packed up and moved deeper into the forest. As they walked, the air grew heavier. It felt like it pressed down on them. Their suits started acting strangely. Lights flickered. Readings jumped up and down. Then Lisa's suit went silent. She stopped walking. My oxygen levels dropped, she said, but my tank is full. Elliot checked his own suit. Same here. Dana's voice came through the comms. Guys, my suit's overheating. They all paused. Something was wrong. Marina looked at the sky. This place is affecting us. How? Kevin asked. I don't know, but we need to move fast. They kept going, but now with caution. Hours passed. The forest opened into a wide valley. In the distance, they saw a cave system built into the side of a cliff. Inside, faint lights blinked. They're still on, Lisa whispered. Someone, or something, was using power down there. Elliot looked at his team. We go in, he said. No one argued. They stepped into the dark. Behind them, the forest seemed to shift. Trees moved slightly. Shadows stretched longer than they should. And somewhere, deep underground, something watched. Something remembered. And it was waking up. The cave was cold and dark. The team moved slowly, their boots making soft sounds on the stone floor. Lights from their helmets cut through the blackness, showing smooth walls and strange symbols carved deep into the rock. Lisa Morrow walked near the front. She kept her scanner out, checking for signs of power or life. It's warmer here, she said quietly. That's not normal, Dana Reyes replied. We're underground. They passed old machines built into the walls. Some were broken, others still flickered with weak lights. Kevin Lang touched one of the symbols. It glowed under his hand, then went dark. This place is old, but it's not dead, he said. Elliot Bryant looked ahead. Let's keep moving. Stay close. Marina. Cruz stayed at the back. She watched everything, walls, floor, ceiling. Her hand rested near her weapon. She didn't like this place. No one spoke for a long time. Then Lisa stopped. I lost signal, she said. My suit comms are down. Dana checked hers. Same. We're blind. Elliot tapped his earpiece. Base. Camp, do you read? Only static answered. We must be too deep, Kevin said. Metal in these walls could block signals. Elliot nodded. We keep going. We don't stop unless we have to. They walked for what felt like hours. The tunnel opened into a large room. In the center stood a tall column of metal, covered in glowing lines. It pulsed softly, like a heartbeat. What is that? Dana asked. Lisa stepped closer. It's some kind of power source. As she reached out, Marina grabbed her arm. Don't touch it, she warned. Lisa pulled back. Why not? I don't know, Marina said. But I've seen things like this before. They look safe until they're not. Elliot looked around. Let's scan it from a distance. They set up their equipment and began collecting data. The readings were strange. The column gave off low levels of radiation, but also something else. A frequency. Not sound, but something deeper. Something that made their heads hurt after a while. Feel dizzy, Dana said. Me too, Kevin added. Elliot rubbed his eyes. Everyone stepped back. They did. The feeling got better. This place is messing with us, Elliot said. Lisa looked at her scanner. I think it's sending out waves, not harmful, but confusing. Marina frowned. Maybe that's how it works. Not by killing, but by making you forget why you're afraid. Silence fell over the group. Then Lisa turned. Where's Dana? Everyone looked around. Dana was gone. She was just here, Kevin said. They called her name, but no answer came. Elliot tapped his earpiece again. Dana, come in. Still only silence. Marina ran to the edge of the room. She pointed at the ground. Footprints. One set leading away into the dark, and behind them, something else. Scorch marks, like something had burned the stone. Something took her, Marina said. We have to find her, Lisa said. No, Marina said. We need to be smart about this. Elliot looked torn. She's our friend. I know, Marina said. But if we rush in without a plan, we all die. Kevin clenched his fists. So what? We just leave her? No, Marina said. We find a way to fight whatever is, down here. They argued for a few minutes, but in the end, Elliot agreed with Marina. We search, but carefully, he said. We stay together. No one goes alone. They followed the footprints. They led deeper into the cave. The air grew heavier. Their suits started acting strange again. Lights blinked off and on. Readings jumped. Then Lisa stopped walking. My suit. It's overheating. Elliot looked at her. Take it easy. I'm fine, she said, but her voice was shaky. They kept going. Minutes later, the tunnel opened. Into another room. This one was different. There were bodies, or what was left of them. Old bones lay scattered on the floor. Some wore suits like theirs. Others wore armor from older missions. Lisa gasped. They weren't aliens, she whispered. They were human. Kevin stepped closer. He picked up a helmet. It was cracked, covered in dust. He read the name on it. Captain Harris, he said. From the Vega mission. Elliot looked shocked. That mission disappeared 10 years ago. Marina looked around. They came here, just like us. Lisa backed away. And they died here. Suddenly a sound broke the silence. A low hum. The lights in the room turned on. The walls lit up with carvings, and in the far corner, something moved. Fast. A shadow. And then, a scream. Lisa. She fell to the ground. Her suit was smoking. Burned. Elliot ran to her. Lisa, he shouted. Her eyes were open, but she didn't move. She was gone. Burned from the inside. Kevin stepped back, shaking. What did that? Marina raised her weapon. We need to move, now. Elliot looked at Lisa's body. Tears filled his eyes, but there was no time to grieve. The hum grew louder, and the shadows moved again, coming closer. The team ran. Elliot Bryant carried Lisa's body at first, but it was too heavy. The suit was burned, her face frozen in shock. He couldn't leave her behind. Not like this. But the shadows were closing in. Marina Cruz pulled him back. We have to go, she shouted. Kevin Lang was already ahead, his breath fast and shallow. Dana Reyes had vanished. Now Lisa was gone. Elliot didn't know what was hunting them, but he knew they couldn't fight it yet. They burst out of the cave and into the forest. The air felt cooler now, almost peaceful, but they didn't stop running until they reached the edge of the clearing. Elliot dropped to his knees. She's dead, he whispered. Marina checked her weapon. We don't have time to grieve. Kevin looked at her. What are you talking about? We just lost 2 people. Marina turned to him slowly. And we might lose more if we don't understand what we're dealing with. Elliot looked up. His eyes were red. Then tell us what you know. Marina sat down on a rock. She took a deep breath. I've seen reports, she said. Secret ones. About missions that went missing near places like this. What kind of places? Kevin asked. Blue Deathworlds. Elliot frowned. That's what the carving said. Marina nodded. These worlds look habitable, even beautiful, but no species survives here for long. Every alien race that came here died. Kevin shook his head. Then why are we still alive? That's the question, Marina said. Elliot stood up. We need answers. They walked, back toward the ruins, careful to stay together. The sun hung low in the sky. The trees swayed again, though there was no wind. They found an old building half buried in dirt. It looked like a temple or a library. Inside, walls were covered in carvings. They showed scenes from the past, aliens, tall, short, many-eyed, walking through forests like this one. Some wore armor, others robes. All seemed peaceful, until the dark figure appeared. It stood taller than any of them. Its shape was hard to see, like smoke caught in light. Below it, the aliens fell, burned, broken, dead. Elliot stepped closer. This isn't just history, it's a warning. Lisa's voice echoed in his mind. This place feels quiet, too quiet. He turned to Kevin. Can you scan these walls? Kevin pulled out his pad. I'll try. As he scanned, symbols began to appear on the screen. Not random. A message. Kevin read it aloud. We built our homes in peace. We welcomed all who came in peace. But the Blue Death sees no peace. It comes, without sound. It takes without hunger. It leaves only silence. Elliot looked at Marina. What is the Blue Death? She stared at the wall. I don't think it's a creature. I think it's something older. Something that lives in this world. Kevin backed away. You mean it's part of the planet? Marina nodded. Or maybe the planet is part of it. Silence filled the room. Elliot swallowed hard. Then how do we fight something that's everywhere? Marina pointed to another carving. This one showed humans, standing among the aliens. Unharmed, Elliot leaned in. Look at this. The humans were shown holding tools, speaking with the aliens. They weren't afraid. Above them, the same word again. Blue Death. But beside it, a new phrase. They are different. They survived. Kevin whispered. Marina touched the stone. Humans aren't immune, but some of us resist. Elliot looked at her. What does that mean? It means we're not safe, she said, but we might have a chance. Outside, the wind picked up, or was it wind? The trees swayed harder. Something moved in the distance. Elliot grabbed his radio. Base camp, do you read? Static. Same as before. He tried again. Horizon, respond. Nothing. Kevin looked nervous. Do you think it's listening? Maybe, Marina said. Elliot looked at the carvings again. Humans had been here before. Some had died, some had lived, and some had left warnings. We need to get back to the landing craft, he said. Marina nodded. And then what? Elliot looked toward the forest. We find out what makes us different. They left the building and started walking. Behind them, the carvings glowed faintly, like eyes watching, waiting. Something ancient was awake now, and it remembered. The forest was quiet again. Too quiet. Elliot Bryant led the way back to the landing craft. His boots pressed into soft soil. Every step felt heavier than the last. Lisa was gone. Dana was still missing. And now they knew. This planet had killed entire civilizations, but somehow humans were different. Marina Cruz walked behind him, scanning the trees with sharp eyes. She didn't speak much, but she never stopped watching. Kevin Lang followed close behind, his hands shaking slightly as he held his scanner. They reached the clearing where the landing craft sat. No sign of Dana. Elliot turned to the others. We need to get off this world. Kevin looked at him like he'd gone crazy. Are you serious? We just found out we might be immune. I don't care, Elliot said. This place isn't safe. Marina stepped forward. He's right. We're not ready for this. Kevin shook his head. You don't run from something you don't understand. You study it. Elliot clenched his jaw. We don't have time to study. We barely have time to survive. They argued for a few minutes, but no one could agree. Then Marina noticed something strange. The ground near the landing craft was warm. She crouched down and touched the dirt. "It's hot," she said. Elliot frowned. "What do you mean?" "This whole area," she said, standing up. "It wasn't like this before." Kevin checked his scanner. "Energy readings are rising. Something is happening underground." A low hum filled the air. Not wind. Something else. The hum grew louder, and then the ground began to shake. Not hard, just enough to make them lose balance. "What the hell?" Kevin shouted. From beneath the soil, small lights blinked on. They spread outward in lines, like veins lighting up under skin. Elliot backed away. "Get back." Too late. A section of the ground opened. Metal rose from the earth. Drones, dozens of them. They were shaped like spiders with long legs and glowing eyes. They moved fast, unfolding like insects waking from sleep. The team froze. One of the drones scanned them. A red light passed over Kevin, then another, then Elliot, then Marina. The drone closest to them beeped once. Then it aimed. A beam of blue light shot out. Elliot threw himself sideways. The beam hit the ground where he had stood. The dirt cracked and burned. "They're targeting us," Marina yelled. More drones crawled out of the ground. Some climbed into the trees. Others moved toward the landing craft. Kevin ran toward the ship. "We have to get inside," Elliot grabbed his arm. "Wait!" Too late. A drone fired. The beam missed Kevin by inches, hitting the side of the landing craft. Smoke rose from the metal. "No!" Elliot shouted. The hull was damaged. Their ride home was breaking. Marina pulled them behind a tree. "They're scanning us." Elliot looked at her. "For what?" "To see if we're human," she said. Elliot stared at her. "What?" Marina pointed at the drones. "Look, they only fired after the scan." Elliot watched as one drone scanned. A patch of forest. Nothing happened. Another scan passed over a pile of old alien armor. A beam fired instantly. The armor melted. Kevin's face went pale. "They're killing anything that isn't human," Elliot cursed. "They were programmed to protect something," Marina nodded. "Or someone." Elliot turned to the others. "We split up. Try to stay hidden. Meet back here in 10 minutes. Marina shook her head. "That's suicide." "We don't have a choice," Elliot said. "If we all stay together, they'll keep shooting." Kevin swallowed hard. "Okay, but where do we go?" Elliot pointed to the forest. "There's more ruins in that direction. Maybe we can find answers." Marina looked unsure. "Fine, but stay low." They split into pairs. Elliot and Kevin went left. Marina went alone, moving fast through the trees. The drones followed. Some chased them. Others stayed near the landing craft. Elliot and Kevin ran deeper into the forest. Behind them, beams of blue light cut through the trees. Wood exploded. Leaves burned. They ducked behind a broken wall. Kevin gasped for breath. "Why aren't they shooting us?" Elliot looked at the drone nearest them. It hovered in place. Scanning. Red light passed over them. Beep. Nothing happened. "They recognize us," Elliot whispered. Kevin looked confused. "What do you mean?" Elliot stared at the drone. "They know we're human. That's why they're not killing us." Kevin swallowed. "Then who are they protecting this place from?" Elliot didn't answer. Because deep in the forest, past the trees and ruins, something waited. Something ancient. Something that had been asleep for a very long time. And now it was awake, watching. Waiting. Thinking humans were different. But for how long? Elliot Bryant and Kevin Lang kept moving through the forest. The trees were thinner now and the ground was covered in broken stone. Behind them, the drones still hovered, watching, not attacking, just scanning. Kevin wiped sweat from his forehead. "Why aren't they shooting us?" Elliot didn't stop walking. "I don't know, but I don't want to find out what happens if they change their minds." They followed a path made of old metal tiles. It led uphill, toward a ridge that looked over the valley below. When they reached the top, Elliot stopped. "What is that?" Kevin whispered. In the distance, past the trees and ruins, stood a tall tower. It rose into the sky like a needle. Blue lights pulsed along its sides. "It's not natural," Elliot said. Kevin checked his scanner. "There's energy coming from it. Strong energy." Elliot looked back toward where they had come from. Smoke still rose near the landing craft. Marina was somewhere down there, trying to survive. "We need to get back," Kevin said. "No," Elliot said. "We go forward." Kevin frowned. "What do you mean?" Elliot pointed at the tower. "That thing might be the key to all this. If we can reach it, maybe we can send a signal, maybe even call for help." Kevin shook his head. "And leave Marina behind?" "She can take care of herself," Elliot said, "but we have to keep moving." They started down the ridge. The air felt heavier here. Every step made their heads ache more. Kevin rubbed his temples. "This place is messing with me." Elliot nodded. "Same here." They passed more ruins, stone buildings half buried in dirt. Some had collapsed. Others looked like they had been burned. "This whole place is dead," Kevin muttered. "But something is still alive," Elliot said. A low hum filled the air. They turned quickly. More drones. Dozens of them crawled across the ground, following the same path they had taken. "They're tracking us," Kevin said. Elliot grabbed his arm. "Run!" They sprinted down the hill. The drones fired. Blue beams cut through the air behind them. Trees exploded, stone cracked. Elliot ducked behind a wall just as another beam hit the ground beside him. The heat was unbearable. Kevin crouched next to him, breathing hard. "They won't stop," he said. Elliot looked ahead. The tower was closer. "Now, there," he said. "If we make it to the tower, we might have a chance." Kevin groaned. "You say that like it's easy." Elliot stood up. "Nothing about this is easy." They ran again. The forest opened into a wide field. In the center stood the base of the tower. It was huge. Metal plates formed a circular platform. Strange symbols glowed on the surface. Elliot stepped onto it. The moment his foot touched the metal, lights flickered to life. A voice spoke. Not loud, not clear, but it sounded almost human. "Identification required." Kevin looked around. "What just happened?" Elliot stared at the platform. "I think it saw me." He stepped forward. The voice came again. "Human detected. Access granted." A door opened in the base of the tower. Light poured out. Elliot looked at Kevin. "Now or never," he said. They ran inside. The door closed behind them. Silence. No hum, no drones, just quiet. They stood in a large room. Walls were covered in glowing lines. A staircase spiraled upward into darkness. Kevin looked around. "This place is ancient." Elliot walked forward. His boots echoed on the floor. A control panel sat against one wall. He pressed a button. Lights flickered. A screen blinked on. Old images appeared. Aliens standing together, talking, building. Then the blue death came. The screen showed the same dark figure from the carvings. It moved slowly through the cities, leaving only silence behind. One alien tried to fight it. Another tried to run. None survived. Elliot swallowed hard. Kevin pointed at another image. "Look, this time, humans, standing among the aliens. Unharmed." The same phrase appeared. "They are different." Elliot turned to Kevin. "We have to find out why." Before Kevin could answer, the lights dimmed. A new message appeared on the screen. "Activation sequence begun." Elliot frowned. "What does that mean?" Suddenly, the tower began to shake. From outside, a deep sound echoed, like something waking up. Kevin backed away. "We just woke something up." Elliot looked at the screen. More text appeared. "Escape vessel ready." Elliot's eyes widened. "There's a way off this planet." Kevin stared at him. "Are you serious?" Elliot nodded. "But we need to get Marina." They ran back to the door. It wouldn't open. Elliot pounded on it. "Damn it!" Kevin checked the panel. "It's locked from the outside." Elliot cursed. "We're trapped." Outside, the hum returned. Louder this time. The drones weren't alone anymore. Something else was coming. Big, fast, hungry. Elliot looked at Kevin. "We need a plan," he said. Kevin swallowed. "I hope you've got one." Elliot shook his head. "Not yet." The walls trembled, and deep within the tower, something ancient listened, watched, waited. Humans were different. But how long could they stay that way? Inside the tower, the lights flickered. The hum grew louder. It was not just sound, it was pressure. Like something big was pushing against the walls from outside. Elliot Bryant pressed his ear to the sealed door. He could hear movement beyond. Fast, sharp steps. Metal on stone, drones, but not only drones. Something else was out there, something bigger. Kevin Lang stood near the control panel, eyes wide. "We're stuck." Elliot turned to him. "Find a way to open that door." Kevin nodded and tapped at the glowing symbols on the screen. Lines of alien text scrolled past too fast to read. "I don't understand this," he muttered. "It's like trying to talk to a ghost." Elliot looked up the spiral staircase. It disappeared into darkness. Maybe there's another way out. Before Kevin could answer, the tower shook again. This time, part of the ceiling cracked. Dust rained down. A new message appeared on the screen. Escape vessel launch sequence, 90% complete. Elliot stared at it. "It's still working." Kevin blinked. "You mean we can get off-world?" Elliot nodded. "If we make it to the top." Another tremor hit. The door groaned. Outside, something slammed into it. Not a drone. Too heavy. Too loud. Elliot grabbed Kevin by the arm. "We go up. Now." They ran up the stairs. Each step echoed like thunder. The walls pulsed with soft blue light. Symbols glowed brighter as they passed. Halfway up, Kevin stopped to catch his breath. "We can't keep running forever," he said. Elliot kept moving. "Then we stop running. We fight." Kevin followed. Higher and higher they climbed. The tower opened into a large chamber at the top, a dome-shaped room with a glass ceiling. Outside, storm clouds swirled above Blue 9. In the center stood a small ship. It was round, smooth, and covered in glowing lines. An escape pod. Elliot stepped forward. "That's our ride." Kevin walked slowly toward it. "Do you think it still works?" Elliot touched the side. It was warm. "Feels alive." A voice spoke from the walls, soft, calm, not quite human. "Final scan required." Elliot looked around. "What does that mean?" Suddenly the floor lit up beneath them. Red light passed over their bodies. The voice returned. Human identification confirmed. Departure authorized. The escape pod opened inside. 2 seats sat waiting. Elliot looked at Kevin. "Let's go." But before they could step inside, the tower shuddered violently. The dome cracked. From below came a deep, grinding noise. Something was climbing the stairs. Fast, Elliot grabbed Kevin's arm. "Get in." Kevin jumped into the second seat. Elliot dove into the first. The controls lit up. Lights flashed. The escape pod began to close. Then, a shadow burst through the broken dome. Tall, dark, fast. Elliot barely saw it before the pod sealed shut. The voice spoke one last time. Departure initiated. The pod fired upward. The sky blurred. Wind screamed, and then silence. Kevin gasped for air. Did we make it? Elliot looked out the window. Below, the tower vanished under dark clouds. Something huge stood beside it, watching, waiting. The escape pod rose higher, into orbit. Kevin exhaled. We're safe. Elliot didn't answer. He stared at the screen in front of him. A new message had appeared. Return coordinates locked. Kevin frowned. Return? Return where? Elliot swallowed. Hard, back to the planet, to Blue 9. He looked at the screen. No, he whispered. We're not done yet. The escape pod flew through space. It was small and quiet, with glowing lines running across the walls like veins. Elliot Bryant sat in the front seat. His hands were tight on the controls. even though he didn't know how to fly this thing. Kevin. Lang sat behind him, breathing fast. "We're going back," Kevin said. "You saw the message." Elliot nodded. His face was pale. "I saw it." Kevin looked out the window. The stars blurred past them. "Why would it take us back? That place tried to kill us." Elliot stared at the screen in front of him. Lines of alien text scrolled slowly. Then one line stopped. It blinked red. "Truth must be remembered." Kevin leaned forward. "What does that mean?" Elliot shook his head. "I don't know, but I think this ship knows more than we do." The pod shuddered as it re-entered Blue Nine's atmosphere. Fire lit up the glass around them. Smoke filled the air. They were coming home. Back to the Deathworld. The pod landed with a hard thud near the base of the tower. Dust rose around them. Outside, the sky was dark again. Elliot opened the door. Cold air hit their faces. Silence. No hum. No drones. Just wind. Kevin stepped out first. He looked around. "Where is everything?" Elliot followed, his boots pressed into soft dirt. "I don't like this," he muttered. They walked toward the tower. The entrance was open. Inside, the lights still flickered. Elliot touched the control panel. The same calm voice spoke. "Return complete. Final truth unlocked." A new path opened in the floor. A staircase led down, deep underground. Elliot looked at Kevin. "We go down," Kevin groaned. "Of course we do." They moved carefully down the stairs. The deeper they went, the warmer it got. At the bottom, they found a large room. In the center stood a tall machine. It pulsed with light, and beside it, a body. Marina Cruz, Elliot, ran to her. She was lying on the floor, eyes closed. Her suit was burned, her skin pale. He dropped to his knees. "Marina." Her eyes fluttered open. She smiled weakly. "You came back." Elliot held her hand. "What happened?" Marina coughed. "I found the truth." Kevin crouched beside her. "What truth?" Marina reached up and touched the side of the machine. Lights danced beneath her fingers. "This planet isn't just alive," she whispered. "It's watching, learning." Elliot frowned. "What are you talking about?" Marina took a shaky breath. "Humans aren't immune to the Blue Death. We're different. Our minds fight it better." Kevin looked confused. "So what is the Blue Death?" Marina pointed at the machine. "It's not a creature. It's not even a disease. It's a force, a memory." Elliot stared at her. "A memory?" Marina nodded. "This world was built by an ancient race. They created something to protect them, a defense system so strong it could wipe out whole species. But it turned on them," Elliot guessed. Marina coughed again. "Yes, it decided they weren't worth saving. It erased them." Kevin backed away. "So this thing kills anyone who comes here?" "No," Marina said. "Only those it sees as a threat." Elliot looked at her. "And humans?" Marina smiled weakly. "We confuse it. Our minds are different. Some of us resist. Some fall to it." Elliot's stomach twisted. Dana didn't come back. Marina closed her eyes. She wasn't strong enough. Kevin swallowed. "How do we stop it?" Marina pointed at the machine. "You don't. You either learn to live with it or become part of it." Elliot looked at the glowing lines. "There has to be another way." Marina's grip on his hand tightened. "There is, but it costs something." Elliot looked into her eyes. "What?" Marina smiled. "Me." Before Elliot could ask what she meant, Marina slammed her hand onto the machine. A flash of blue light filled the room. The ground shook. Elliot was thrown backward. Kevin screamed. When the light faded, Marina was gone. Only her helmet remained. Elliot crawled to it. His voice was low. "No." From the ceiling, the calm voice returned. "Sacrifice accepted. Balance restored." Elliot stood up slowly. His legs felt heavy. Kevin looked at him. "What did she do?" Elliot didn't answer. He looked at the machine. The symbols changed. New text appeared. Human approved, knowledge shared. Elliot stepped closer. The machine began to glow brighter. Images filled the air. Maps, voices, memories, old ships, old wars, old people, all stored inside this place. Kevin gasped. It's giving us its secrets. Elliot stared at the images. Not all of them, just the ones it thinks we can handle. Kevin looked around. Do you think Marina's still in there? Elliot didn't answer. He wanted to believe she was safe, that she had made a choice and saved them. Outside, the hum started again, but slower now, gentler, like the planet was watching, waiting, learning. Elliot looked at Kevin. We need to send this data back to Earth. Kevin nodded. And then what? Elliot stared at the glowing machine. And then, he said, we decide if humanity is ready for this truth.